which sectors do you think we're really going to see a change in a renaissance in terms of innovation because of what we're going through in the pandemic? We know that there's some businesses that are really struggling. So the leisure and travel sectors are really suffering at the moment. But where do we think this is going to go over the next 6 months or so in terms of those sectors that we're really going to see fly?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's an interesting question, and I work with a lot of media businesses, and sort of seeing what's happening to retail, for example, the very rapid move from bricks and mortar footfall onto digital platforms, whatever that may be. You look at what's happened to the retail sector and sort of the decline in print and the move to digital over the last, however long, many years. That's precisely what's happened to a number of others. And retail's an obvious one where you've got that big, loyal consumer base who want to be served, and it's just about sort of as a sector. And the same is true of others. I think retail's the most obvious one, but it's making sure that plan, that out of the curve, that momentum delivers to that customer base in a way that's sustainable, I guess, in the long term. I think that's the most obvious. It's more difficult for leisure, sport, entertainment, that sort of sector where there's not such an obvious, easy move to a long-term, pure digital model. But we're seeing it happen, and I think it will continue, the sort of hybrid between actually lots of art organisations or entertainment organisations or leisure organisations providing digital services alongside what will be a return to some sort of bricks and mortar physical presence business.
Yeah, I think that's true, and I think there's certainly, again, I think there's the immediate organisations, the immediate benefits that organisations take. So those that are in the telecommunications space, the virtual and the remote working space, are obviously very, very busy at the moment. Very busy. What I do see as well is given the issues that we've got with things like sport coming back online, but in a slightly different way than we all imagined it to. I think there is going to be something there around augmented viewing, and whether that's a focus on augmented platforms that allow you to interact with sporting events because you can't be there. I think there'll be something around that over the next 6 to 12 months. Online retail, I think, will obviously change quite significantly, just because more people will either have found online retail that perhaps never used it previously, or we'll see a kind of return to a bit of the norm around that. But perhaps businesses, having been put in a position where they've been so stretched, they need to think about different ways in which they can counter spikes in their business and that sort of side of things. And I think the other one is health and well-being. I think because we've all, and as we go back to work, and we're in an environment where there may be more monitoring of what we're doing, I think there might be more tendency for people to actually give up a bit of privacy for the benefit of feeling healthier or feeling more protected in the workplace and elsewhere. So there might be a bit of that as well.
Yeah, ultimately, I mean, that comes, you mentioned transparency as being such a big issue. That's, sometimes I'm like a breaking record when I talk to clients about transparency, but that's fundamental to what you need to generate, which is ultimately trust, whether that's with your workforce and something like temperature checking, or your consumer base. There's been a sort of trust, we're trying in this pandemic period. As we come out of that period and into the new world, retaining that trust and generating more of it, that's at the heart of it, really.
Yeah.
For Tansty, powering your ambition.